Hi guys, welcome to another video. This is a preview for Man United's game against Young Boys. Obviously we're through the group, we're top of the group, which are huge positives. If you think about how poorly we played this season, so many poor performances. And even if you think back to the reverse fixture against Young Boys where we lost, Wan-Bissaka getting sent off early, Lingard giving the ball away and them scoring off the back of that. It was a really poor performance, and so I think hopefully we'll be looking for retribution. Hopefully we still have that competitive edge. Young Boys, they're fourth in the group. They were the team I was looking at before the group, thinking, okay, we're going to get 6 points against them. So it's definitely a team I'm expecting us to beat really tomorrow. Now we're coming off a top performance in my eyes against Crystal Palace. Really night and day in comparison to how we performed in other games this season. And I'd like to see us really build on that, get some momentum. We've got a good batch of fixtures coming up in the Premier League. So this for me is really important. Second game of Rangnick's tenure as well. You want to see which players are looking to step up, which players are actually looking to challenge for the starting 11. We need the full squad in this congested fixture run. And so I'm really interested to see, one, who he plays, and two, how they play. There's quite a few positives that I'd like to build on from the Palace game, and the first of which was that high defensive line. I think a lot of talk has been made about Maguire, how he's not one of the fastest defenders, and so maybe he won't be able to play in a high defensive line, but I completely disagree with that. I think he's perfectly able to do that. I think one of the key qualities, or some of the key qualities you want from a defender playing in a high line, is good positional play, so good starting position, good sort of leadership, sort of directing the defensive line and the people in front of him, aggression, good play on the ball, and sort of on the ball ability. I think he has all of those things. In fact, I'm definitely sure he has all of those things. And so I see no reason that he can't be successful in a Rangnick team. So it was good to see that anyway, and for us to execute it so well. And then the fullbacks as well, you think about Dalot and Telles. Dalot in particular was really positive. Having an outlet on the right back side of things, somebody who can use his left and his right foot, somebody that's happy to take on his opposite man, somebody who's technically proficient, real breath of fresh air, and I'm really good to see. And I'm hoping whoever plays fullback can build on that as well. Moving forward to the pivot, Fred and McTominay, they were extremely aggressive, getting to their men, getting to the likes of Gallagher, swarming them, not giving them a chance to sort of breathe and pick passes and counter us. Want to see more of that as well from whoever plays in the pivot. The one thing I will say that was a bit of a negative was our execution in the final third. I thought we were a little bit rusty there and a little bit sloppy, I would say. We didn't create too many clear-cut chances when we were on top of Palace, which is something disappointing. Yes, Palace are a good side, but I think given the territory we had, we should have been expecting to make more chances. We got the win though, and I'm hoping that in this fixture we can create more chances and then consequently score more goals off the back of that. Now, the team news. I watched Rangnick's press conference and I thought it was interesting, as the rest of his sort of interviews and conferences has been so far. I like how sort of blunt and to the point he is when he's answering questions. It's good to hear a bit more about what's happening behind the scenes. He was asked about Martial and his injury, and he said that Martial is having a bit of knee pain. It's a recurrent thing. It's not a new injury, but we're hoping he'll be back next week. That sort of thing is quite nice to hear. Also, when he's talking about Varane saying, we want him back as soon as possible, but it's about sustainability. We need him for the whole season and not just back for as soon as possible. And so they're going to manage him accordingly. That's also positive to hear. I think, last season there were maybe a few too many players that were being rushed back from injury, either by themselves or I don't know necessarily who, but they were being rushed back. So it's nice to hear that we're actually taking a bit more time to get these players back. He also mentioned the the recruitment of a sports psychologist, and he explained the rationale behind that. Again, really nice to hear. Nice plan. Real attention to detail. So that was nice to hear as well. In terms of team news, as I mentioned, Martial's out, Varane is out still, Cavani's out as well. Shaw has trained, but I'm unsure whether or not he's going to be actually part of the squad. And Phil Jones, he hasn't been part of the Champions League sort of registered squad, and so he's unavailable as well. So those are the main takeaways from the press conference. Looking at the sort of team that I like to play, I mentioned it before. I want to see heavy rotation. I still want to see the competitive edge. I still want to see that intensity. All of the same things that I mentioned from the Palace game. But it's definitely an opportunity to be seeing how other guys will play under pressure in the Champions League, and what they can bring to the team, whether they can push to be part of the starting lineup. I would start with Henderson in goal. Moving into defence, I'd play Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly and Shaw in defence, and then I'd play Matic and Donny in front of them. In front of them, I'd play Lingard and Bruno, and then in front of them, I'd go with Rashford and Greenwood. Reason being, I'd definitely want to keep some of the sort of core team, like Maguire and Bruno, just so that we still have that intensity, still have those demands that are being put out there. You know, just so we can get a fair reflection of how some of the players that are coming in will perform. I want to see Matic and Donny as the pivot, mainly because we played that in pre-season, but we haven't really played that in this season. So I want to see how they will perform together. I definitely see Van der Beek performing well under Rangnick and being a really useful player. So it'll be good to see him start. Henderson, I haven't mentioned that, but I'd like for him to start purely because, you know, I've mentioned it before in previous videos that, you know, I don't think De Gea is doing enough to keep Henderson out of the team. Henderson's a lot more proactive. Henderson is also younger. For me, there's a real upside in at least trying to bleed sort of Henderson into the team. So I want to see him start at least tomorrow's game, you know, and maybe even the games after that as well. Lingard needs minutes, so he, for me, has to play. Rashford, he's looked a bit rusty, you know, lacking that match sharpness, and so it'd be good to see him get minutes as well, and try and get his level up to where it was when he was fit last season. Now, I'm hoping also at 45 minutes we can make a couple of changes. Ahmad and Elanga, 2 changes I'd like to really see coming in at half time. Provided we're obviously ahead and it's looking comfortable. You know, these are 2 young players, super talented. Elanga was bright on the weekend. Apparently he was quite bright in training. Ahmad has also been pretty good when he's performed for us. So it'll be good to see them getting integrated into the first team setup a bit more. So those are the sort of players I'd like to see come on. Now, in terms of my prediction for the scoreline, I see us scoring goals. I don't think we'll be as rusty as we were on the weekend in front of goal and creating chances. And with that, I'd say 3-0 will be my prediction. I just don't think young boys have enough to keep us out. And if we play anywhere near the level we did against Palace, we should be getting goals against them. So that is my prediction. Let me know if you would pick a different lineup. Also, comment below, let me know what your scoreline prediction is for tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a review tomorrow as well after the game, so tune in for that as well. And there'll be another couple of videos coming out later on in the week as well, so tune in for that as well. But I will see you at the next video.